focusing again on answering the many questions that we have left over from many past 2 weeks. So thank you again for giving me this chance. So let's begin. This question has been there for very long. I'm so sorry for the one that posted this question. And this one has been from, I think, one of the sessions many weeks ago on the Wisdom at Dawn, because we have been reviewing the videos for this past few months, Wisdom at Dawn. And so this appeared in one of the mornings, and so there was this question, and it refers to one of the story that Master told, which is actually a rather long one and a rather complicated one also. So I'll summarize it a little bit and the story itself, and then from there let's talk about what it means. So let me just read the questions again. So that story was about, during Buddha's time, there was a conversation between the Buddha and the heavenly being. Okay, and there was the Buddha said something like, whether it's the right time or wrong, could ask yourself why you're born in heaven. Okay, this sentence itself just already didn't really make much sense. Yeah, so later on we explain on that what it means. Okay, and then it talks about arrogance. Okay, and yeah, and the Buddha said this important phrase also, this important stanza about, in this world there's a lot of impermanent things. It also arises from the mind, superior conceit, equal conceit, and inferior conceit. These will be the three things that we'll be talking about in more detail. What's that all about? And these three conceits. Okay, so this story is what we will be talking about. So let's begin. So one day, this heavenly being met this young bhikshu, and this young bhikshu just got ordained and still new to the path. So one day they met, and this heavenly being paid deep respect to this young bhikshu and said, "Young bhikshu, I really respect you. You're still so young, yet you can already let go, all these 5 kinds of enjoyment." Okay, you still have so much time, so young, you still have the choice to enjoy, every other things. Why do you choose to pursue monkhood? Okay, what's the 5 kinds of enjoyment? 5 kinds of enjoyments include 财, 色, 名, 食, 睡. Okay, sorry, I didn't start over here. 财, money. 色, all the things you see, all the beautiful things. 名, the fames. 食, the food. And 睡, sleep. So these are 5 kinds of enjoyment that often, leads our desires into wanting to do all these things, seeing the things we like, go and eat the things we want, craving for all these things, sleep especially. Okay, so 5 kinds of enjoyment. So still young, why do you choose to let go of all of this and then pursue for monkhood? And the young bhikshu replied that when he chose to become a monk, when he went before the Buddha actually told him that this is what Buddha said. Buddha said, because you are young, it is the right time, but not yet the right time. Okay, I don't know whether I translate this okay, but this is what I want to bring up. That Buddha says, because you're young is the right time, but maybe not yet the right time. Okay, and the heavenly being heard of this, and he says, I don't really understand what it means. And the young bhikshu replied, Actually, I don't really do, but this is what I heard. This is what I heard from the Buddha. So why not? Maybe I bring you to the Buddha, and let's ask together and hear from the Buddha himself. And the heavenly beings was happy, was really happy. So please arrange for me at this time. So they went together to the Buddha, and the heavenly being paid respect to the Buddha and then sat one side. And so they were chatting, and then it was this time, and then heavenly being asked the Buddha, just now I was conversing with this young bhiksu, and I was asking him, why does he choose to renounce his late life so young? And he said that you said before that because he's young, and so it is the right time, but not yet the right time. I don't understand it. What does it mean? So Buddha first replied that whether it's the right time or not actually depends on you. Every being say, I don't understand. I don't. What do you mean? And so the Buddha started ask, do you know why you are born in heaven? And heaven being was, of course, very happy. Of course I know. I've done so many things. I've donated so much. I've helped so many people. I went out every day to give to give food to all the poor. I've done so many things. All the 10 good things. Nice. Say good words, think good thoughts, do good deeds, and do all of this. This is my everyday life. Do all these goods. Of course, I'll be in heaven. And he repeated this 3 times. In a way that's very proud. I've done all this. This is what I've done. Of course, I'm in heaven. That's right. Okay, so that's how the heavenly being replied. And then Buddha asked the second question. Or your last for sorry. And then Buddha asked, okay, will it last forever? And heavenly being quieted down. And then Buddha said again, when you use up all your blessings, you fall to the other realms too, depending on what the other karma you have done. And heavenly beings start to think, I only know I've done these good things. I actually don't really know what the other karmas I've done. So Buddha nodded his head. Yes, actually, there's a lot of things that we may have done before in our past lives. We do not know. And then there's also the other things that we need to be careful of. So this is when the Buddha said this stanza: superior conceit, equal conceit, and inferior conceit. Those with these 3 kinds of conceits may have disputes. The elimination of these 3 conceits is called a moving thinking. I know this stanza really doesn't really make a lot of sense because it's actually in a poem. It's like a poem. So, but poem in Chinese, translated into English, it's very hard to understand. So let's separate this into these 3 things. It's basically talking about these 3 things: the superior conceit, the equal conceit, and the inferior conceit. If you have these things, okay. By the way, conceit means arrogance, basically. Actually, a dictionary is called excessive pride in oneself. So basically, arrogance. But conceit. When I first read it, I don't know what this word means, conceit. But it actually means arrogance. Okay. So superior conceit or superior arrogance, equal arrogance or inferior arrogance. When you have arrogance or these kinds of arrogance, you will have disputes with other people, with all these things, with everything. When you have arrogance, you will often get into disputes with people. Without arrogance, then you will be in harmony with people. So that's what that means. When you have arrogance, when you have conceit, you will often have disputes with all the things around it. So eliminating all this arrogance, you'll be able to reach this state of unmoving thinking. That means your mind will no longer be wavering. You will become calm. Your mind will no longer be in dispute with people or with things. With with the things you like, you dislike, these cravings or these conflicts with things. When you eliminate these three kinds of arrogance. So, oh, that sounds pretty nice actually. So what's these three kinds of arrogance? In Chinese, it's called 盛慢, 等慢, and 不如慢. We see something that's superior, something that's equal, something that's inferior. What's these three kinds of arrogance? Let's look at arrogance itself in a deeper in a deeper way. So arrogance, this word, we often link it with an image of a person, looking at people with his nose, very high, with the posture very high up, and then don't want to listen to people. Whatever people say to him, he just thinks that, nah, come on, I'm already, I'm already, I'm someone, the kind of posture, the kind of aura, the kind of don't want to listen to people, don't want to change, very arrogant, thinking that he's the best, he's already the best, something like that, right? In Chinese, it's called man, 傲慢, which literally actually means slow. And well, before, when we talk about 傲慢, at least in Chinese, 傲慢, it actually didn't have the meaning of slow in it. It's just that kind of arrogance meaning. But when I slowly think deeper into this word man, why does it use this word, this Chinese character man, that actually literally means slow? When I think deeper into it, I felt it's actually very, very meaningful to use this word slow. Arrogance makes us slow. Arrogance makes us no longer want to improve. So it slows our path of cultivation. It slows our path, our motivation to go further. Just like the famous story of the turtle and the rabbit. Rabbit can run very fast, but because of his arrogance, so it slows him down. And so he actually loses the race. So arrogance actually, the meaning behind actually means slow. Or if we don't look at just the form of looking at people, the kind of arrogance, the kind of posture, if we look behind the form, actually what arrogance means is slow. So let's start to reflect upon ourselves. Do we have this kind of thinking, or this kind of mindset that would actually slow us down on our cultivation path? And that doesn't always mean the kind of posture, arrogance feeling, not really, but it slows our cultivation path. So what are these three kinds of arrogance? That means slowing our cultivation path. What are these? Let's reflect upon ourselves. Have we ever said something like, I've done so much, more than everyone else, or my idea is this is definitely the right idea. I mean, what other people say, it just never it's just never better than me. Such kind of thing. I've done so much more than everyone else. All the things I've done more than you. You gotta listen to me. Such things like this. Okay. Or have you ever said something like, okay, yeah, you have done a lot. I I I I, I am too. Mhm. Or looking at some other say some other brother and sister that have done very, very well. Have you ever thought that, yeah, you've done very well? Claps, claps. Well, I'm the same. I've done a lot too. Yeah. So have you ever had such mindset too? Or sure, you have done much. Good for you. No, I'm good at some other things. Okay. You're good, and my kind of good is different. Okay, I have something better. You're kind of good. That is not my thing. Okay. Good for you, not for me. So I will do my thing. You go your path. Something like that. Okay. So have you ever had these three kinds of thinking? So these three are that three kind of arrogance. So superior arrogance is when you think you are better than, superior than everyone else, and so there's no more things to learn, no more things to become better off. You think you're already the best, and so there's no need to go further. You're already better than everyone else. So that's superior arrogance. That will slow you down because you think there's no longer any. The cup is already full. There's no longer any space to go further, and so that's superior arrogance. Okay, and then there's the second one is equal arrogance. That means uh, people actually done better than you, but you will think that nah, actually it's not that much. I've done better. I've done much too, and so you make it equal. You think actually better people have done better than you, but you think that nah, it's just equal. I'm actually we are the same. Yeah, I'm not that bad. Yeah, yeah. And so that this kind of thinking also will stop you from improving because you think I'm already okay. I'm already the same with everyone else. I don't need to improve further. I mean, everyone is like this. Why do I need to go? Why do I need to do better? And so that's equal arrogance, and that will slow our cultivation too. The third kind is the inferior arrogance. That's like the third sentence, where you are much, what is it? That other people is much better than you. That you're actually not really not good at those things. Say, yeah, this can be many different ways. So when you're really inferior, when there's really a lot of room for improvement, yet you still think that that's for other people, that's not really for me. You can become a vegetarian, but not for me. I don't think that's my kind of thing. No, I can do a lot of things, but maybe not that. Or thinking that no, people very good at hosting or very kind to people. You know, everyone likes a person. But what do you think that nah, he's just being uh, 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 you know self-centered people. No, you kind of discriminate or other people in order to make yourself feel better. So that kind of inferior arrogance also stops our cultivation. In fact, such kind of inferior arrogance, in fact, is the worst, right? Because you're actually not good, but yet you think you are good or think that you don't need to improve, and so that is actually very bad because it actually make us do all the bad karmas and then stay in the very bad level and yet we still don't want to improve. And that is bad. That is really bad. And that is actually kind of what the younger generation nowadays are very much in this kind of state. It's not that they don't actually show the kind of the arrogance kind of posture. They don't. But what they have is 安逸，就是is that the life is already very well. It's already safe and sound. He doesn't need to worry about his income. He doesn't need to worry about what to do. There's so many things he can do. If you just open the computer, go onto the internet, there's so many things he can do. So the life becomes stagnant. And so when life becomes so smooth without any ups and downs, and there's no need for him to earn a living or to work hard for something, life becomes like this, and there's no motivation to become better at anything. And I think that's what many of the younger generation nowadays are in, this kind of state. They doesn't really have a very clear goal in mind, what they wish to become in the future, what they wish to contribute to society. And so they are just in their own world, games, manga, all these things. And then when people ask them to do something or to improve something, to focus on something, they don't really feel like it. So that's actually a state of mind. Inferior arrogance is different from the usual arrogance we're talking about, but that slows our improvement. And that's what younger generation like us need to be careful of. We may often have this kind of mindset coming up. Then again, it is from my observation, I also feel that actually we have come to a stage, at least for the younger generation, we have come to a stage when we have stagnant for too long, and so long that we also feel that we have played all the games in the world, we have watched all the movies in the world. There's really is life just like this? Is there other things I need to do? What is my purpose in life? What is my my mission in life? What is the meaning of living? What is my goal in life? I think we have come to a stage where the younger generation nowadays stopped to actually think about this. There's, at least when I interact with our Tzu Chi, 2 to 3 years ago, where I talked to them, I would still feel like that that kind of motivation is lacking. But this year, I start to feel a change. They're changing. They're thinking about doing more. They're thinking about asking, what's their purpose in life? Why are they here? What do they need to do? What should be our aim in life? They start to asking. They start to ask this kind of question, and they start to ask about how can they do to make the teaching in their schools better. They have the motivation already. They are starting to put up the first step. Yeah, I think that is good. That is good. That it's like we went through one cycle of Cheng of form, stay, disintegrating, and back to emptiness. We're kind of already back to this emptiness stage for a long enough time. And now is the time when when we now start to think about how to get better, how to improve. We are in this, coming back to this stage of forming, into this this stage of forming. And so I think we're on this path of going up already. So I think this year onward is a very good time for all the younger generation out there, and also for all the school people out there. If we are to if we hope to bring our younger generations up to a better stage, I think this is a good time. So let's do this together to help the younger generations up back to a better time. So this is arrogance, and that is linked to slowing up cultivation. And so when we come back to this phrase that the Buddha says, that because if you enter monkhood when you're young, that is the right time. And it is the right time because any time is the right time to enter Buddhahood, to enter the path of cultivation. That is definitely, every time is the right time. So it's never too young, and it's never too late to enter Buddhahood. So that's the right time. But it may not be the ripe time. And the ripe time depends on you, depends on us. Are we arrogant? Do we have those mindsets that slow our cultivation? Do we have superior arrogance, equal arrogance, or inferior arrogance that would stop us from moving further? If we have these kind of arrogance in our mind, then it is not the right time, because we are not ripe yet. We have not ripened. We are not ready yet to improve. So let's all remind ourselves, brothers and sisters, to check on ourselves. Do we have the three kinds of arrogance that slows our cultivation? Do we make ourselves not the right time? Should we prepare ourselves to be in the right time so that we are ready to listen to Buddha's teachings? So this is the story of this young bhikkhu and heavenly being, the Buddha, talking about superior conceit, equal conceit, inferior conceit. And I think that's a good reminder for us to check ourselves. Okay, so I will end this question here, and I'm sharing over here also. Next few questions we see if later we have some time. We will go through that later on. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning, Dharma Master, Masters of the Bird, brothers and sisters. Good morning. I'm Brenny from Hong Kong. Today I would just like to share with you some of the thoughts and journeys that I encountered after finally found Tzu Chi. So Tzu Chi connected with me through a deep affinity. I was a devoted Christian when I was in grammar school. I wanted to become a preacher by the age of 15 and insisted to be baptized against my parents' will. They were non-believers and were worried I was too young to understand my actions. Around that time, a classmate of mine, my dear friend Sherry, who was a Tzu Chi, invited me to join Tzu Chi events. Unfortunately, I was against all Buddhism-related things due to my then religion. I therefore only joined one event and did not continue to discover Tzu Chi. By coincidence or not, I started to question my Christian faith right after baptism. I began to find some of my common senses and logic in disagreement with Christian doctrine. I left Christianity with questions that could not be satisfactorily answered and never went back to church. However, my spiritual quest did not stop there. Many years after, by coincidence, the same grammar school classmate Sherry invited me to join her on a trip to volunteer at a Cambodia charity school. After I went to Cambodia, I found the charity school was established by two young Tzu Chi members. Later that year, I went with one of my Tzu Chi friends from Cambodia, Rance, on a holiday to Taiwan. On that trip, I visited Tzu Chi Taipei Hospital, Jingshi Hall and Jingshi Abode for the first time. I was impressed with Tzu Chi's strategy works and started wanting to engage in Tzu Chi. Yet I did not understand Tzu Chi enough to be motivated at that time. It was until this year, a friend and I wanted to start our own NGO in Hong Kong, which inspired me to go on a trip to Hualien to learn how Tzu Chi runs its global organizations. Then I finally started to discover what Tzu Chi is truly about. I lived in Jingshi Abode for 4 days during this trip in mid-June. What I encountered on this trip was life-changing. The experience continued to influence and move me, and even after I came back to Hong Kong. I started a vegetarian diet, and I started to read books about Shangren and Tzu Chi's life journey. I was often deeply moved by the touching stories from these books and could not stop shedding tears of joy and gratefulness. I was both amazed and comforted to know that there are still so much goodness and pureness in this world. I also praised the vast wisdom of Buddha's Wondrous Dharma that was embedded everywhere in Tzu Chi. Last weekend, I went back to Hualien and Jingshi Abode again. This was a special trip for me. I celebrated my 30th birthday at the abode and made my birthday wishes bowing before Buddha. I wish that I will continue to develop deeper and deeper affinity with Tzu Chi, that I may follow Shangren life after life to walk on the Bodhisattva path, that I may become a missionary of Tzu Chi in the near future and for life. I am profoundly grateful to have found Tzu Chi. After all these years of searching, I finally found my way home. There are many people and organizations that do good deeds. Yet, Tzu Chi is different by taking one step further. Tzu Chi not just guides people to do good. Furthermore, it inspires people's compassion and draws out people's best potentials from inside out. And most importantly, to teach people to grow in wisdom along with compassion. Tzu Chi let us involvers understand why we want to do good and what we can learn and experience through these actions. It also teaches people to practice uniting knowledge and actions, and by doing so gain wisdom. Learn as we do and do as we learn. Our Dharma Master is a great mentor that truthfully guides people in learning how to unite compassion and wisdom. Her teachings are just and true to the essence of Buddha's Dharma, while presented in an easy and modernized way for more people to understand. I found true Buddhism both scientific and logical. It requires deep thinking and welcomes people to contemplate and even challenge the Dharma in every aspect. Through doing so, one learns that Buddha's Dharma is indeed the truth of the universe. Buddha's Dharma makes perfect sense. I do not need to be persuaded to believe. I am naturally drawn to the Dharma as a thirsty child drawn for water. Sangren often repeats 多用心, be mindful in her teachings. She never wants her disciples to blindly believe and follow her. She encouraged her disciples to think and experience the Dharma and grow in wisdom life. Through her teachings, I discovered the Dharma joy of learning about the truth and the right path of life. When I think of Sangren at times, I cannot stop recalling a story from the Bible, the story of Mary Magdalene about how she washes Jesus' feet with her tears, dries them with her hair, then anoints them with the best ornament. Sangren is like Jesus. I'm like Mary Magdalene. I deeply fear and repent for my own sins from lives of ignorance. Pray that I might be pardoned on my sins and be removed of turbid habitual tendencies by a Savior. However, Buddha's Dharma teaches us that one can only atone and conquer one's own sins and habitual tendencies through one's own hard work. Although Sangren is a great teacher, the disciples need to learn diligently to walk on the right path, following Buddha's Dharma. Buddha's Dharma shows us that we ourselves are our own saviors. This is the harsh truth. We cannot be saved by anyone unless we want to be saved and we work hard to be saved. Furthermore, we can only deliver and help others by saving our own selves and stand back up. I wish to offer more diligent learning and practicing the Dharma as the best ornament to Sangren. I am forever grateful for finally found Sangren and Tzu Chi. I am grateful that my life now has a clear direction, that is, 佛师心智, Buddha's mind and Master's vow. Every man in Saha world is vulnerable and tiny. Tzu Chi lights up a bright light for men and guides us to find courage in the right path. An individual is easily assimilated and contaminated by the turbid forces of this world. Tzu Chi unites many kind hearts to pave a path towards enlightenment and love under Sangren's wise guidance. By immersing into this loving current, one is no longer tiny, because there's no more I, but we. We all become part of Tzu Chi and become part of Buddha's mind and Master's vow. We are a part of the long Bodhisattva path. This path is paved and walked on by Tzu Chi members. Save oneself to save others, deliver others to deliver oneself. Others and I are no longer separated. Others and I are not separated to start with. Our mindset is space, self, and others, determined by a single thought can separate all. A single thought can also unite all. Sincere gratitude to Sangren and Tzu Chi. People's kind and sharing thoughts towards others' suffering sometimes are withered and not knowing what to help and how to help. This kind and caring intention may later either turn into guilt. Why am I able to enjoy peace and happiness while others suffer? What allows me to have abundance while others have none? Or turning into numbness and escape into one's own shut-away world and let the good intentions bury under the worldly matters. Sangren built a platform for Tzu Chi, so all those with good intentions can turn their inactions from not knowing how to help into wholeheartedly contribute their care and love to Tzu Chi's works. This way, people with kind hearts can unite together to help more people. In turn, the helpers enjoy Dharma joy and the comfort and relief from knowing that they really make a difference. One pair of hands alone are short and weak. 500 pairs of hands together are long and strong. Sangren not just helped relieve those in sufferings, she also helped those who are not in sufferings but wanting to help others. Therefore, one should be grateful for the opportunities to help others and be thankful that one's heart now has a place to contribute and be at ease. When I first encountered Tzu Chi, some of the things that I found strange was the neat uniform and the orderly way of walking in line. When I first started Tzu Chi training, I was not comfortable wearing a uniform and being taught in how I should walk, eat, bow, and etc. Until later last month, someone shared with me that Tzu Chi is not just a charity, it is also a place for spiritual practices that I suddenly begin to understand. Tzu Chi is a charity. Tzu Chi also is a place for spiritual practices. Furthermore, Tzu Chi is a way of life. There are many meanings behind all Tzu Chi etiquette and standards. The combination of these become part of Tzu Chi culture and image. At the core of Tzu Chi culture is unconditional love. For example, the uniform. Regardless of your financial and life situation, everyone dresses the same. No segregation, no discrimination. Everybody is equal. Everyone remains humble while dignified by the collectiveness in uniform dressing. The uniform also represents the responsibility that we shoulder as a Tzu Chi member. Outsiders might not recognize us, but they recognize the Tzu Chi uniform. When we dress in uniforms, we owe to our uniforms and constantly be reminded of what we are representing as a Tzu Chi member. Another example is the way Tzu Chi members walk in orderly lines in formal occasions. We control our bodies to control our minds. Then in turn, we control our minds to control our bodies. We become more thoughtful and considerate in our actions. We practice concentration and mindfulness in every minor daily activities we do, such as walking. When we become more mindful, we start to become more sensitive and gentle to our surroundings. As we associate and adopt the Tzu Chi way of life more and more, we are actually exercising spiritual practices deeper and deeper. On the surface, Tzu Chi etiquette and standards might appear rigid and binding, yet at the core, it all centers on unconditional love, extending from our own hearts to include wider and wider surroundings around us. Culture eats strategy like breakfast. It's a famous quote from legendary management consultant and writer Peter Drucker. If our aim is to achieve a harmonious world and eliminate all sufferings, and our strategy for achieving that is to help others and empower them through education, we need a culture to make our vision and strategy possible. Tzu Chi's way of life is a perfect solution that we should adopt to cure our deteriorating world. Imagine if all communities and societies around us can immerse into a loving and caring culture. There will be no more conflicts and no more sufferings. Tzu Chi aims to do just that. We as Tzu Chi members need to first adopt and understand Tzu Chi culture to cultivate compassion and unconditional love for all. This way we can show and influence others to join in. Actions are more powerful than words. Culture is more powerful than strategy. A great overhaul of culture starts with minor details. The way we walk, we eat, sit, and conduct daily activities are representing us in silent ways. After understanding this, I wholeheartedly respect the uniform I am wearing now. I no longer see Tzu Chi etiquette and standards as troublesome, but a beautiful and artful way of demonstrating great love for all and for ourselves. Profound gratitude to Buddha and all Bodhisattvas, profound gratitude to Sangren and Masters of the Boat, profound gratitude to all Tzu Chi brothers and sisters, profound gratitude to everything of everything. May all hearts be purified, may all societies be in harmony, may the world be free of all disasters, and wish that I may become part of Tzu Chi and lay myself down along the long path of Bodhisattva. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Indeed, it's really inspiring. Thank you, Sister Fanny, for, I think she really summarizes very aptly the core of our practices while we here in Tzu Chi. And she say many things that are all very important. How that we are our own savior. It's indeed a harsh word, a harsh idea, but at the same time, it's also very motivating that we are in control of our own life, or in other words, we are in control of the affinity in our life. We are part of this great affinity in our life. We can help ourselves at the same time, help others. So, and that's really one thing, and it's very nice. And then another part about how every single etiquette in Tzu Chi world is cultivating great love. So it's not rules, it's not guidelines, or it's not rigid things, but it's not controlled. But it's really helping us to shape our disposition into one that is of a bodhisattva. Imagine, since we are here learning to help others, can we actually also help others, motivate other people, even when we are walking, even when we are eating, even when we sleep? Can we bring joy to others, even in these kind of times? I remember there was once a guest from overseas came to a boat. She only speaks English, and she had one full day in the boat. And then, of course, we shared many things with her. But what she shared with me that what inspired her a lot is when she entered our canteen and then eats together. She said, everyone over here eats so beautifully. And that's really, really inspiring. And so that was pretty amazing. From the way we eat, it really can inspire someone else and and generate in someone else's mind a good thought, thinking that I want to follow that same path. I want to follow the same thing. The same. It's not just the gesture itself. It's the whole that feeling want to change. I want to change my whole disposition into one that really brings joy to someone else. In another way, every time when I look back at my table and my cupboards, I also imagine that if one day I'm no longer around, if someone else is going to come in, open up my cupboard, and then to keep my things, or for me, things like that. What would they think when they open up my cupboard? Would they be like, "Oh my goodness, so this is your pig"? I mean, very untidy and dirty cupboards, and oh my goodness, this is terrible. Every time I thought about that, it brings me a lot of motivation to try to clean it up. And so I think it's in a way that our every single thought, every single action, our every single livelihood is one that could be in line with Bodhisattva path. That can be in line with great love. How we hope, how every single action can bring some good thoughts to other people. And that's what we are practicing over here. It's not just our own life and doing good, two separate things, but doing good all the time, or every single time, and that's Bodhisattva. So I really thank you, Sister Granny. You're really, really a true missionary of Tzu Chi already. Sincerely welcome you to Tzu Chi Big family, and really happy to have you. And let's walk this path together and motivate each other on this path. Thank you. So yeah, suddenly when I look at this prayer, I think it links to Sister Granny. It's indeed the right time, and it's also the right time for you. Awesome. Okay, so let's go on with the next one. This question says, is it to say that if one wishes to walk the self-cultivation path, one has to learn to let go of family attachment? In other words, is it better to be a monastic to be a spiritual practitioner? I think this is a very legitimate question, because in the usual mindset, the spiritual practitioner usually refers to the monastics, and then the lay person, like all of us, are supporting the monastics in their spiritual practicing, and so we support them with offerings, with alms, with the bed, the medicine, and so on and so forth. We support with the material. We support monastics with the material goods, and so that the monastics can wholeheartedly practice in their spiritual improvement, and then share their learnings with us lay practitioners. So that's the role of monastic and lay person back then. But I think our Shangren opened up another different world, another different path, when monastics and lay person are, we wouldn't say that it's just sort of the same level. We have different missions, but we are both. We are both spiritual practitioners. We are spiritual practitioners in our lay life. We are spiritual practitioners in the monastic life. And again, the monastics are Dharma masters. They teach us with their actions, with their whole life, and that's their mission. And as a lay person, we walk the path. We walk the Bodhisattva path, and we are also the spiritual practitioners. And so, to master, she only has disciples and no followers. She only has disciples. And we are all her disciples. And disciples means we are all on this path, learning, practicing to become a better person. And so we are all spiritual practitioners, although we are lay person. Then again, so what's the difference between monastics and lay person in what Shanren views? And do we say if we want to go further on the spiritual path, do we have to definitely walk on to a monastic life? So I've searched on the web and found one of our wisdom at dawn. This is in 2012 when Master was not yet starting on the Lotus Sutra, when she was still talking about the Water Repentance Sutra. She said this. Brothers and sisters, you might want to read with me together. It's 3 slides of words, but I think this is very nice words. So let's start from this. There are many ways to practice, but to attain Buddhahood, one should renounce lay life, completely purify one's mind, and nurture the virtue within, like the Buddha did. To do that, we need to transcend our limited love so that we can attain Buddhahood. At the same time, we should not cling to attachments and should work among people to benefit them all. This is our spiritual practice. We left our loved ones to become monastics. We did this in order to train our minds. We should know that if we do not transcend our limited love, if we do not truly cut it off, we will not be free of it. When we cut off the limited love completely, we can truly engage in the Bodhisattva practice of great love. In a monastic community, we must learn to live with others in harmony, transform our hearts, and connect with the heart of others. We must learn to be accommodating and receptive towards those from different families and cultures. We must realize we have different habits. We must practice living with a heart of purity and contentment. If we can do that, then dedicating ourselves to helping others will not be difficult. So this is Master's sermon. This is the verse in Chinese. For those that read Chinese, welcome you to read the Chinese version also. I think it really connects with Master a lot. So what I feel from here is that 出家, to become monastic, is really about how to transform from limited love to unlimited love. That is great love. So of course, we may, because of our affinities, we already have a family, and that is okay, as long as we still practice and we are all practicing this one, how to transform our limited love to unlimited love, how to love not just our family members, but also everyone else, so that this whole world is one big family, and we are all family members. And so that's why we call each other brothers and sisters, because we are all one big family. And everyone else are also our brothers and sisters too. And so transforming from limited love to unlimited love is our path of practice. This is that spiritual practice that we are practicing on. Whether we are lay or monastics, it's the same path of practice. So it's not the form, whether we shave our heads or all those things, that really determine our practice. We are practicing how to transform our limited love to unlimited love. And of course, within that, there's that one lesson of learning that we may have to overcome. And that is the lesson of, can we let go of that attachment to that one single person, our girlfriend or boyfriend, that is to the younger generation. Can we let go of that kind of attachment? I mean, even if we're already spouses, we are husband and wife, we still can ask ourselves, can we transcend? Can we overcome? Can we go better? Then can we overcome the attachments? Can we see each other, husband and wife, as brothers and sisters, without attachments, so that we free ourselves, we free others also from these attachments, and then we can both be free and walk the path of Bodhisattva path. Now we don't worry about our wife or our husband go out and then like other come into relationship with other sisters or brothers. We don't have to worry about that. That we are really tongshou, that we are together practicing. We are like just so happen that we are on this path together practicing, and so we motivate and help each other on this practice, on this path of practice. We support each other in our material living livelihood, so that we can both practice on the path. So in a way, our family, our small family, is also like a small monastic. It's just like a boat. A boat is also a place where we support these 200 monastic members. We support each other in our material living livelihood, so that we don't we sustain, as at least for the boat, is our self-sustenance. We support each other in our livelihood, so that we can all be free from these material needs, and then focus on our cultivation path. In the same way, in our small family, it's also like a place where our family members, we support each other in our material needs, so that we can all practice this path fully and wholeheartedly into this Tzu Chi Bodhisattva path. So practicing from limited love to unlimited love, I think this is our practice. And letting go of the attachment, that is also our practice. So do we need to become a monastic to be a spiritual practitioner? Well, yes and no. And I think you get what I mean when I say yes and no. Yes, because we learn to let go of our limited love, and not really, and no, not really, because it's not about the form. It's not about leaving the crowd or leaving the family, but it's about entering the crowd, entering a bigger family to become a spiritual practitioner. So, okay, so that's for this question, and time is about up. Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you.